Okay, so today we have Chapter 3, Lesson 3, Slope. We've talked about this last year. You've heard of slope before. I know you have because I taught it, but today we're going to refresh our memories on slope. So we have a few vocab words, so take time to write these vocab words down. The term slope is used to describe the steepness of a straight line. Slope is the ratio of rise over run. And then there's some vocab words within here. Rise is the vertical change, and run is the horizontal change. So there are lots of different ways to find the slope. Finding the slope using a graph or table. Slope is a rate of change. It can be positive, which just slants upward, so it kind of looks like that, or negative and slants downward. The letter M is used as a variable for slope. So a lot of times you'll see me write M is rise over run. Okay, so sometimes there's a nice little visual. I call him the slope guy for different types of slope. So he's got two eyebrows. One is a positive eyebrow and one's a negative eyebrow. He has a nose with a U at the bottom for undefined, and he has a mouth with zeros at either end. So if the line looks like this, positive slope, negative slope, an undefined slope, and a zero slope. This kind of reminds me of the floor that you're walking on because there's no slope to your floor. This would be like the wall that you climb up. You can't walk on the wall, so it's undefined. So it has no slope. We've got a couple examples here. Here we're given a treadmill. It says find the slope of the treadmill. So we're going to say M equals rise over run. It rises 10 inches and runs 48 inches. So we could put those labels, but those labels are both going to cross off. We can simplify that by taking a 2 out. 5 over 24 is our slope. Letter A, hiking trail rises 6 feet for every horizontal of 100 feet. What is the slope? So M is rise over run. So it rises, it says 6 feet over 100 feet. Those both are even, so we can take out a 2. We get positive 3 over 50. And so just so you know, the closer that number is to 1, the steeper it will be. Okay, so we can also use a graph to find slope. So I usually draw a triangle between two clear points. If they are unclear, I skip it. I find 2 clear points. And then I count the amount of rise. Sometimes it will fall squares over the run squares. Insert those into rise over run. And then we're going to simplify. So in this one, find the slope of the line. So I'm going to draw a right triangle between B and A. So here it rises 1 square and it runs 4 squares. So M is equal to rise over run. We said it rose 1 and ran 4. So there's our slope. Here is, we've got a chart, some charts coming up. So we've done find the constant rate of change, and that's what we're going to do here. Find the constant rate of change, aka the CROC. Make sure to simplify the ratios. Sometimes you'll also see this Greek triangle. This triangle, it's called delta. It's a Greek alphabet letter that symbolizes change. So we would say change in y over change in x. So sometimes you'll hear me say that too. Got a nice little crocodile bump. Slide 7, we've got a chart, so it says find out how many pages he has left to read. So we're going to do our crocodile bumps. Here it drops 3 every time, and for every 2 minutes. So our slope, M, is equal to change in y over change in x. The change in y is negative 3. The change in x is 2. So the slope of the line is negative 3 over 2 or negative 1.5. But generally you see this because this is way easier to graph. An improper fraction is easier to graph. So here's a little bit of review. Draw a nice triangle. M is equal to rise over run. This is going up, so it rises 1, 2, 3, and runs 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it rises 3, runs 4. There's our slope. This one we've got a chart. So we do our crocodile bumps, and we're going to do change in y over change in x. Y changes 1 every time, increases by 1. and c changes by a positive 4 each time. So y over x, 1 over 4. Finding slope given 2 points. So let's say they gave you 2 points, but they didn't give you a graph. One way to do that is using this little formula. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. They're going to give you 2 ordered pairs where the y's and x's are represented. The first set of order pairs is your x1 and y1. Second order pair is x2, y2. So y2 is 3, y1 is 4, x2 is negative 7, x1 is 1. And it doesn't matter if you go either way as long as you always use the first one first or the second one first when you're labeling your x2s and y2s. So in this case, we're going to m is y2 minus y1. And in order to understand that formula and to remember it, we write it out every time. So y2 is 3 minus 4 over x2 minus x1. 3 minus 4 is negative 1. Negative 7 minus 1 is negative 8. But a negative divided by a negative is a positive. So m is equal to 1/8. Remember, this should be x1 right there. There we go. A couple other ones here. Here you could draw a triangle, or you can use our formula. So you can do both. It's kind of hard to see that point though. So this is a negative slope, so let's make sure we get a negative answer. M is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. y2 is 3, y1 is 2, x2 is negative 4, x1 is 1. So 3 minus 2 is 1, negative 4 minus negative 1 is negative 5. So m is equal to negative 1/5, which is what we said it should be. And it falls 1 here, and it ran 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What a deal. Negative 1/5. Same thing here. Let's write our formula every time. y2 would be 3 minus 2 over 5 minus 2. 1 in the top, 3 in the bottom. There's our slope. Letter E, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. y2 is negative 2 minus negative 4, kind of tricky there. And x1 is negative 3 minus negative 7, because the formula says subtraction, where you're finding the change. So minus minus means plus plus. Negative 2 plus 4 is 2. Negative 3 plus 7 is 4. Simplifies to a half. Last thing I want to talk about are different types of slope. And we showed this on the slope guy. There was his positive eyebrow, his negative eyebrow, his zero mouth or the floor, and his undefined nose or a wall. So if you have a line going from left to right, straight across, it looks like the floor, that has a 0 slope. If you have one going up and down like a wall, it is undefined. There is no slope. It's too steep. Yes, you can. End of story. Have a great day.